Welcome back to Nationwide Arena, where the fire and safety of the fire and the Guns and Hoses game is going on.
Annual Guns and Hoses
right now, yeah. And I think there's some that locker room
2-2.
2-2. That locker room in Columbus may have needed hose down after the second period tonight.
Yeah,
I'm a big hose man myself.
Moving right along. We were just saying we think Ken Hitchcock could maybe pull a couple of goaltenders out of this game. From watching, it's been a low-scoring affair.
Enough levity. 3-2, the Blue Jackets find a way to pull this one out after nearly squandering a 2-0 lead. Rob Oller is joining us, our esteemed columnist. You know Aaron Portzline. Aaron, let's start with you. This could have been an absolute disaster had they ended up losing this game.
Right.
They ended up finding a way to pull it out. Scott Hartnell scores after a great play by Sam Gagner, but whew, this could have been ugly.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of a worse period they've had this season than the second, where they just looked like they couldn't figure out A, what to do, or B, it didn't look like they cared to know what to do. Just a terrible. Honestly, it harkened back to last season. I thought in some of those periods where it was just a pointless wandering affair. They didn't get a shot on goal until 16-18, I think, in that period. And only two shots on goal the entire period. And then, of course, you know, the sparks fly after that. John Tortorella fell on a sword after the game saying, I didn't make things better in the second period, I made things worse. And then you found a great nugget afterward that the room was turned over to the players, specifically the captain, and Tortorella said, you fix it because I'm not making things better.
Yeah, Nick Foligno addressed the team. They were walking down the hall, and as you said, he said, I'm not talking to them. I've had enough issues in the second period. Foligno apparently really got into him pretty good in talking with Scott Hartnell. He said it really kind of got them going a little bit for the third period. Rob, you wrote a column for tomorrow's paper. What were your thoughts on your first visit over here this season?
I think ultimately they come away with the win. So I mean, talking to guys in the dressing room, that was the silver lining they found, and I guess the idea being that you can play that poorly and still win. Those would not be the old Jackets. Those may be the new Jackets. As Torts said, you know, we could have caved in, and we came close to caving in, but we didn't cave in. So that's some growth. From
an outside, we know you're not here all the time, but if they would have lost this game tonight, which would have been 6 losses out of 9 since the long winning streak, what do you think this does to maybe the fan base or some people from the outside who are still on the fence about this team, about really wanting to put their heart to it?
You know, I've been kind of using the theme from Jaws, as sort of the analogy here with this team. Now, the bob up. You know, you're just waiting for things to fall apart, for the attack to happen, and I think this would have been here they go again, at least a little bit. Among some, maybe the fringe element would have thought that, but they kind of pulled it together in the third. Didn't play great, but played just good enough to win. Bob was huge, and I think that was the key, and smooth sailing now, as they say.
Early in the third period, the Jackets are actually on the power play, and they give up a shorthanded chance. And you want to talk about one of the big saves of this game and maybe of this little stretch here, Sergei Bobrovsky with a huge stop.
Yeah, on stall. Who knows what to do with the puck. That's one of those. They haven't given up a shorthanded goal all season. The second we ask about that, the press conference is probably going to end because that's bad luck. But they're more than halfway through the season. They haven't given up a shorty. That was as good an opportunity shorthanded as I think I remember them allowing even. And Bobrovsky, huge save at that point. I mean, it's a save, as Tortorella said after the game, he's got to make those saves. This is the sort of saves you expect from an elite goaltender. But that's a special save. They go down 3-2 there. I don't think they were great in the third period, even after all of the stuff they talked about.
Right.
They go down there, it's almost hard to imagine them digging out of this.
It felt like they were trailing. It was 2-2 in the second period. It felt like they were trailing at that point. One other point here. I thought a real unsung part of this game tonight was their penalty kill. They killed 5 of 6. Now they did give up a power play goal. They're 28 over their 28 of their 30 in the last 10 games. This PK was terrific, especially in the third period, killing 3.
Yes, and we should say they did it without Matt Calvert, who is regarded as their best penalty killer.
And David Savard.
Yeah, well, exactly. Savard out as well. So, you know, Hannakainen goes in and not only scores a goal, his first NHL goal. Have we mentioned that?
Yep. No.
Hannakainen's first NHL goal. And then he's also does a pretty decent amount of penalty killing. So does Lucas Sedlak, who's not done a ton of it, but he's starting to see more of it. Yeah, if ever there was a game where the way that it played out, it didn't have a lot of energy, had a lot of penalties to kill, that's the sort of game that says, boy, Matt Calvert is really needed in that game. And so, that's almost makes it doubly impressive to scratch this thing out. I thought Hannikin was really good.
I thought Hannikin was good. I thought Lucas Sedlak was really good killing penalties. I thought his line, that line play.
Well, their bottom six forwards were better than their top six, in my opinion.
Was it the Guns or the Hoses that just scored?
Hey, let me ask you guys about the PK. What is that mindset? I mean, what gets it done there when you're mixing and matching pieces like that? And why was this team seem to be so good at it?
Well, it starts with a goaltender, right? I mean, your goaltender has to always be your best PK. They've got a good group of core of 5 or 6 penalty killers forwards, and Calvert again is one of them. Again, Sedlak was good. I just think that they're really on a groove. Of course, it doesn't hurt when I don't think that that's one of the best power plays in the league. I think you give Pittsburgh 6 chances.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. A performance like that for much of the game and in the second period. Nothing against Carolina. I think they've played above their heads most of the season. There's a lot of teams in the league you just don't get away with that.
Oh, no.
Right?
No.
The opponent, I think, I'll quite a bit.
Well, I want to ask you one more thing. You come over here tonight, 19,000 people. What did you think of the atmosphere here? Just the way the crowd tried to kind of get them home there in the third period. You've been in this building where Carolina would probably bring 12,000 on certain nights in the second half of the year.
You know what? Porter, you said it long time, years and years. Win, and they'll come in. And I think there's an energy here. I was impressed. I mean, 19, I think I guessed 17-4 or something like that. And it came back 19. Now, it was Military Appreciation Night, and there were a lot of, military folk here. Yeah. But still, I thought there was a lot of energy. There was more energy in the seats than on the ice for most of the game.
And they paid attention, too. Like, they were really good in the first period. And then the second period, I don't think I realized they didn't have a shot on goal until you mentioned it, like 14 minutes. 14 minutes in. But the second Columbus got a shot on goal, even though it was from 60 feet, the crowd did sort of a little bit mocking. Yeah. Like, good job, boys.
Yeah, I thought that really they did a nice job kind of getting them home the last 6 or 7 minutes because there wasn't a whole lot there.
Everybody up, too.
And we talked about they're scoring, coming back and winning in the third period. I think they were outshot like something like 15-6 or 16-5 or something like that in the third period. Yeah. Again, you give up 3 power play goals. You have a plane to catch. You're going to Ottawa.
That's right.
I'll be in New York. The 3 games on the road before the All-Star break. Check out dispatch.com. We got a new redesign. Looks beautiful. Check out his columns, his game story, and we'll talk to you soon.